Hi, hello, it's me. Welcome to this shit show. And by that, I mean, I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes about my ADHD. And the reason I want to do that is twofold. One, I want to remember all of this process, finding out I have ADHD, sort of the reasons, the things, the revelations that are coming to mind about like my past and what may have been related to ADHD. I want to remember everything. And two, it might help somebody else because there's not a whole lot of content findable about women with ADHD, and if you do, it's more educational than like a chat, and I like chatting because I have ADHD. Anyway, so I wanted to start with a very brief overview of my mental health history, and that's like not a play-by-play, but it's just an overview, just so you can see, because a lot of women are diagnosed with a lot of things before they find out that they actually have ADHD, and that is the experience that I have had. At 11, I lost my dad. He passed away from cancer, and I was put into counselling. That only lasted 2 sessions. I think that was provided by Macmillan, which is a UK charity, which is fantastic. But as a family, we decided, my siblings were even younger than me, and I was 11, we decided that it wasn't for us. So that was the first time I had contact with a mental health professional. The next time I had contact was when I was 13. My mum took me to the doctor. She'd found hundreds of laxatives in my bedroom because I have bulimia, and I was told by the doctor that I was overreacting and attention seeking, and I'd grow out of it. To that doctor, I did not grow out of it. Thank you. So that's something I battle as well, but that's a conversation for another day maybe. I don't know if you want to talk about that. I don't know if I want to talk about that. We'll see. What was I saying? So they were my young, youthy mental health situations. Otherwise, I've just been stuck on antidepressants. I've tried all of them. I'm not even joking, I have tried all of them. I have tried every anti-anxiety medication that you can try as well, which is sort of the process that you go through in order to be medicated for ADHD, which I am not yet. I have to taper down some of my medications for a different condition I have called trigeminal neuralgia. God, jeez. I have to tone some of their medications down before I can add in an ADHD medication. So hopefully that will be soon, but it just depends on how my body reacts to less pain relief in my face, because that's a nightmare. It's a whole nother nightmare. I'm just making like a list of videos about nightmares that I'm going to make, but no, we can talk about that if you want. I don't know. That takes us up until this year, 2021, the year that everything changed for me. In 2020, the second half of 2020, I experienced a trauma. I'm not going to go any further than that, but it was very traumatic. And since then, my mental health just plummeted. It went really, really bad, which is how I found out so quickly that I have ADHD after my first contact with professionals. Well, my first most recent contact with professionals, if that makes sense. So, I had a breakdown, if I'm completely honest. I had a complete breakdown. I wasn't functioning. I was not in a place that was positive whatsoever. I was really, really struggling. And I had contact with the early intervention team around my area, which have been just incredible. I very quickly got to see a psychologist, a counsellor, and then a psychiatrist who I see on occasion to discuss me and my mental state, essentially. So luckily, like I was saying, luckily I was seen very quickly, and I was seen by a crisis team, essentially, because I was in crisis, where I know that in the UK anyway, a lot of the waiting list to find out if you do or don't have ADHD, autism, things like that, can be like 2 to 5 years. In my area, it's 3 years. The thought of waiting 3 years to find out is not... No. I'd say luckily, but it wasn't lucky because I had a breakdown, but, you know, I found out. So, I've been medicated for loads of things in the past, like I said, depression, anxiety. They thought I had premenstrual psychosis for a while because of how bad my mood swings are, how hyper I do get. And when I say hyper, I don't mean like a child bouncing off the walls and stuff. It's more like a nervous buzz of energy that starts in your brain, radiates through your body, and you can't physically do anything with that energy because your brain is mentally like, I don't know what to do either. So let's just sit here, overthink, even though you can't really hear your own thoughts anyway, and pace. I pace constantly. My floor, my carpet, I'm just pacing. And if I'm not pacing, I'm vacuuming. I'm a poor carpet. So because luckily my family are extremely supportive, I couldn't emphasize that more. I had my mum come with me to the psychotherapist, and they discussed sort of my youth and my developmental history, which there were some speed bumps in. Road bumps. So there were some road bumps in. ADHD is what we got out of this. They're also considering another diagnosis that I'll talk about another day if it comes to light, because I don't want to suggest something that isn't true. So now when I look back at my life and the Abbyisms that I have, that my family make jokes about, like kind-hearted, like light-hearted jokes about, my friends make light-hearted jokes about. They're all things that I think are now relevant to ADHD, and I'm concerned now that when I am medicated, all these good things are going to drop off, but we'll find out, because I'll share my journey of medication with you when it starts. But things that I do are starting and stopping things very frequently. I've started 2 college courses, dropped out of both of them, a BTEC and A-levels. Then I've also started 2 degrees, dropped out of both of them as well. It's not because I can't understand the content or that I don't want to do it, it's just that I can't. I get so overwhelmed by tasks and task management that I struggle to get anything done sometimes. And it got to the point where I said when I had my breakdown that I was just completely non-functional. I was getting nothing done at all. But this starting and stopping has been a thing for forever. We joke about it. It's like, I be half a job. As well as that, I've got some sensory sort of issues surrounding being warm, as well as food texture aversions. I don't eat mush and I don't eat yellow food really. I don't tie my shoelaces. It just stresses me out, so I just tuck shoelaces into my shoe. I'm very particular about clothing and what I wear. You probably notice I'm actually wearing the same hoodie as my last video, and then all my other videos are filmed in a set of like 4 different hoodies, because that's all I'll wear, because that's all I'm comfortable in. So basically, this video is to tell you that as a 24-year-old woman, you can be diagnosed with ADHD. You can find out that you have ADHD, and it might floor you as it floored me. I took a good few weeks, maybe even like a month, to come to terms with the fact that I have ADHD, and now I can reflect on things that I feel are failures, or I feel... I took 7 driving tests because my concentration is that bad. Do you know anyone else who took 7 driving tests? Probably not. And it's just because I struggle so much with concentration to the point where sometimes it's just pacing, that's all I can do. Or I need my children in order to... So today, for instance, they're at nursery, hence why we are chatting, because they're not here to listen to me ramble. But I need my children as a distraction, where if I'm on my own, I can have all the time in the world and all the plans to do all the things that I want to do, and I will just get overwhelmed, upset, and then pace, and then feel like a failure. And it's so upsetting and so stressful because there's nothing I can do. My brain is just sometimes in a frenzy. It feels like an actual frenzy where everything feels wrong. It's so hard to explain to someone who hasn't felt it, but it's like a physical problem that comes across your whole body. It starts in your brain, it comes across then your whole body and filters through, and it just brings you into a little pile of despair, thinking about all of the failures that you've ever been through, and then repeat every day. Really hoping that medication helps, because I'm still struggling at this time. It's been January, so 5 months since I started seeing my counsellor, my psychologist, my psychotherapist, my people. But it turns out that the trauma that I referenced earlier really kicked up my ADHD, because then my anxiety went up, my depression got worse, my OCD got more apparent because of intrusive thoughts. So because of all of this going like crazy after this thing happened, my ADHD went woof, and that's why it became apparent when I was older rather than when I was younger. I can now look back and think, yeah, I've got ADHD. And people have said it to me all my life, you've got ADHD, oh my god, calm down, sit down, shut up, be quiet, you can't concentrate, Abby. I've heard that forever. Abby has potential at school, she just can't concentrate, she won't shut up, she's always staring out her windows. I have heard this forever, this is not news to me. But having found out and being told by professionals that you have ADHD, as a woman at 24, and I'm 25 a month today, it feels very strange. It's all just quite stressful. I get very obsessed with things, I set myself goals that aren't achievable, my OCD then kicks in and makes everything a little bit more stressful, and yeah. So ADHD is a lot of feeling like a failure, having so much energy that you don't know what to do with it, then doing nothing with it and pacing, and then feeling like a failure. So there are good times where I have so much energy and I do know what to do with it, and I run around like a maniac and I do so much and I feel good and I'm laughing and it's brilliant and I can feel productive, and they are good days and they do happen. I'm not at all suggesting that good days don't happen. It's more like a half day thing. Like the mornings are always pretty good and I can just like be a super person and just run around like some kind of maniac, and then the evenings are when I start to feel like an absolute failure that's done nothing with a day, or could have done more with a day, essentially. That's how ADHD affects me at the moment. How it used to affect me, I'll get into in another video, because I'm sort of just getting a grip on some of the traits that I have that are ADHD relevant. I mean, I never stop with my hands. I'm constantly fidgeting. It's a constant thing, and I have to fidget, because if I don't sort of fidget with bubbles and glasses and phone cases, then I pick at my collarbone, I pick at my face, my hair. I'm extremely impulsive. Spending is a nightmare. I don't know if other people with ADHD, I do know actually, you do have the same issues. It's so bad. I've had to literally give a credit card to my mum and be like, do not give this to me because I will spend it. So I've been shown the light and shown some coping mechanisms on how to not overspend, which I can get into in another video. Oh my god, I've said that like 8 times. I could talk about some of the coping mechanisms for the overspending, because it has actually really helped me. Some of the coping mechanisms my counsellors, I see a counsellor weekly, she comes every week, she's mint. I found them extremely helpful, and it has massively reduced my impulsive spending. I'm not at a point at all yet where I can like save money, I'm not there, but I can now not overspend at the moment today, which is brilliant. It's always been, if Abby's got a credit card or if Abby's got any money, it's gone. And it'll be on like silly things. I've always been that way. I spend a lot of money in a very short amount of time and then spend months feeling like the worst person in the world because I spent all the money. They're just some of the things that I wanted to discuss today, because there are a lot more. You've probably heard how fast I talk. This isn't I'm not on like 1.25, I'm not on 2 times. This is just me. I don't really have much else to say. I know this has been extremely disorganised. Welcome to ADHD. So we're going to leave this here. I'll answer any questions if you have any questions. I don't know if you have any questions, but if you do, you can ask me them and I can try and answer them, or I can refer you to somebody that might be able to answer them, because there is an extremely incredible Twitter verse. If you search the hashtags ADHD Twitter or just ADHD, you'll find some extremely amazing people that give incredible advice and are really helpful. And yeah, I'll leave some links to that below. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask them. If I can answer them, I will. If I can't, I'll refer you to somebody who can. But it's been good. It's been real. Thanks for chatting with me today. I did most of the chatting, but that's what I usually do. So it'd be cool if you could chat back, but if not, that's fine. Also, I heard I'm supposed to tell you to subscribe for more disorganised ADHD, autism and true crime. Oh, I nearly did that then. True crime content. I've got a big true crime video coming this week. I know I promised it last week. I forgot it was bank holiday. That was insane. It's a doozy. And then I've got another true crime video. So you've got a big one coming. Big half an hour of me chatting shite about murder coming in a few days. And then there will be another video, which I'm not going to tell you what that is. You can wait and see. If you turn the notification bell on though, which will be down here somewhere, or down here, probably down here. I don't know if you're on a phone or an iPad or a laptop. I don't know what you're... If you turn that on, you'll find out what the next video is without me having to tell you. Follow me in other places. I'm Abby Lytical everywhere. Don't follow me in cute person though, because like that's not welcomed. Thank you for listening. We'll chat again real soon. Remember to drink water. Yay!